Hi there, my name's Jay, and I'm pleased to introduce John Spike to the Crowdsourcing Promising Practices community today. He's actually joining us from Wisconsin, which is pretty cool. And he thinks teaching is like a karaoke party. So if you give everyone a chance to step up to the mic and share their talents and passions, you'll see everyone support each other in the whole group. And I've actually done some karaoke with this guy, so I love that. I love that analogy. And today he's going to show or share with us today how you can use Google Drawings to visually demonstrate understanding in a gamified manner. So I'm looking forward to learning from this one as well. So we're so appreciative that you've joined us today, John. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and share your screen and explain to us how you've used this tool in your classroom.
All right, perfect. Well, thanks so much for having me on, Jay. And I'll try to be succinct, but I'm a talker, so sometimes I ramble on. But what you're looking at right now is what we like to call the image battle royale. So it kind of came out of an idea. I was talking with a colleague, and we thought, wouldn't it be fun to kind of gamify an experience in Google Slides or drawings? And we very much were visual learners when we grew up. And so we thought, what if there's a way to have students visually demonstrate understanding in kind of a game situation? And we found in a lot of subjects, you've got a term or you've got a character, or you've got a concept, and you want to, discuss that concept. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. But one fun way we found is this was a Google drawing template. We just took the standard size and we kind of made it fun. So we brought in the background from the old Punch Out game, Super Punch Out, and kind of made it look like a little arena. Our first iteration of this was like just a line through the middle of like a Google drawing, and then two people would square off. And we were like, let's up the ante. Let's put 4 people in here. So you can kind of see it's gridded off. It looks like you're in a little bit of an arena. So all we did is we just kind of strategically brought in some free to use Google images of, the scene from this fighting game. And we just tried to do that to capture the battle royale feel. And one thing we did up here is we just inserted a text box in the Google drawing. And up here, you can put your topic. So let's say your topic, here, let's say I was discussing like symbolism, if I was a English teacher, or if I was, discussing what democracy is in, social studies, whatever it might be that your subject is. What I do next is I'd invite in 4 students, or, however many I wanted to bring in. And I'd give those students a challenge of, in this amount of time, I want you to scour an internet search, an image search, to bring in images, for this particular topic. So there's a lot of different ways you can do that. You can do your insert image and search the web, and you can have the students do it right from, their Google image search if you want, right here, so they could start searching for terms they want. One thing we challenge them to do is don't just search for the word, because you're going to get all these examples that all your other competitors might get. You want to be unique. So when you think of democracy, what else do you think of? Do you think of people going to the polling places and voting? Do you think of people having a voice? Do you picture all these people, in a crowd, each feeling like their voice is heard? What does that look like in terms of an image? If you've got little ones, sometimes we have them go to like photosforclass.com or Kiddle.co, because those are safe searches for kids. So you're not getting them pulling up, images that might be inappropriate, right? So we have them find those images. And then we teach them just how to bring those in, copy, paste them, save the images, and then insert image and upload them. A lot of different ways you can do that. If you've got older students who are kind of ready for like the Google image search, one thing we do is we try to show them, some creative ways they can search. So what I'm going to actually do is show you, here is like an end result, what you might see from this. So here's, let's say, 4 players who brought in images. And what I really love when we do this with students is they think of conveying them in unique ways. So students sometimes are very literal. Sometimes they're, think of examples. Sometimes they think of, images that are metaphorical maybe. And so also kids love things like GIFs too. So sometimes you see kids who put in a GIF, right? Just maybe to be funny, or maybe because they think the GIF is going to, really kind of convey their message. So you can see this is a variety of different responses. You've got an example. People think of maybe Hitler when they think of a dictator. People think of a sinister guy wearing a crown. People think of one person elevated over others. Or people think of this adorable little blob who has a whip and has the classic dictator hat, right? So you've got all these different visual representations of it. So to kind of backtrack a little bit, one thing we also teach students too is some of the tricks they can do. So let's say, a student is uncreative and they search for dictator. One thing that, we also teach students to do is the different ways they can search for images. So one thing we do in Google image search is we might go to tools and we say, did you know you can look for animated, images with the tools? And then these are all going to be GIFs, of dictatorship. So if I click on this one is going to be my animated GIF of a dictator, right? So if they want to try to find a GIF of a dictator, they could. If they wanted to, like we had with Hitler, if we search for Hitler and we go to tools and we change our color to transparent, you can get what's called a cutout of Hitler. So you could, find one that, here is that cutout of Hitler. So you can see in the end result, this is a cutout of Hitler. It doesn't have a white background of him. You've got just this kind of silhouette of Hitler. So if they want to have, some different styles of images, they could do that as well in their pictures as well. So that's just another strategy to get them, bringing in more unique images into here. So what we do after the 4 students bring in their images is we would have the other students who don't participate vote on which image they think best captures it. Then we have the students explain their image, why they chose it. And sometimes the light bulb comes on. People maybe didn't get that they were making an analogy, or they were, what they were going for, or maybe people didn't know what the photo was. The student explains what the photo is and they go, oh, that's really good. And so we ask everybody, do they want to change their vote based on the explanations? And then we revote and kind of declare a winner. So that's how the image battle royale works. Once again, we just took a Google drawing. You could very easily make this by just divvying it up into 4 corners and just giving each student a corner of the label, however you want to do it, really. We have the rules here in the corner just to let them know what they can do. And then just for fun, purely just for entertainment, the final countdown by Europe, the band. So it's just a fun way to do the countdown timer. You could just link to an actual, timer, but this is actually the final countdown song from the classic rock band Europe. So there you go. You can see them rocking out. And it lasts exactly 1 minute, 10 seconds, which we find is a good kind of urgency amount of time. If you have younger kids, you might give them longer. You can kind of differentiate the time based on, your population. So yeah, that is the image battle royale.
There's so many things to love there. I need to try a lot of those things in my classroom. John, appreciate that. And while the idea is super slick, and I see kids being excited about this, just talking about the importance of being a savvy searcher and that skill set that's needed today. That's great. So thanks so much for adding a perfect little bite of PD to our community. And for those viewers out there, thanks for learning with us. Consider subscribing. Keep those nominations coming in and helping us make sharing contagious.
All right, perfect.